Hello, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Al's Air Guns. Today is part 2 of disassembly of our Crosman 3622 PCP airgun. And today I have in my hand the pressure tube valve assembly and fire control group for that airgun. So let's go ahead and remove our fire control. And for those of you familiar with the Crosman world, this is the same fire control group, it looks like, as is used in the 2260, Discovery, and a number of other Crosman guns. We got an Allen key here we need to deal with. Let me move that light a bit. All right, see what size we are here. No, that's too big. Go down one size. There we go. Oh boy, that one's in there. Okay, let's make sure we're all the way in the bottom of that. There we go. Knock my screwdriver down, but that broke free. Got another one of those in the back here. Go ahead and take care of that one. Get him loosened. There we go. All right, now we can go ahead and get both of these out of here. Okay, I have to get my parts bin back. Assume that this back one is under some pressure from the hammer spring, and I believe this end cap is going to release when I take this one out. So I'm holding all assemblies with my hand here, wanting to force that one back. Here we have our trigger control group, a sear that we're used to seeing in the other products in this line, and plastic trigger housing. Also, let me see if I can get this to show. When we removed the assembly from the pistol grip, you can see in here, I might have to put a flashlight in there, right in the back of that assembly is that little spring. You can see it coming into the circle that retains the safety that you have to pull out when we're removing the safety. Let me grab my parts bin. Okay, I have my parts bin, and as far as parts, we've got our 2 screws we removed. We have our end cap, and it's been noted that that end cap has an Allen key in it, and it is designed to adjust pressure on the hammer spring. And they tell us we're going to, well, if you read the manual and they talk about valve lock and what to do if you've had valve lock, all of a sudden the manual's edited and the text goes away. I believe if you have a service manual when it comes out, it's going to tell you what you do for valve lock is remove it and tighten this screw here, which will in fact increase the pressure on the hammer spring and hopefully give you enough force to knock that valve free. But I haven't actually seen that in publication. I think some folks are interpreting that as a hammer adjuster, and I don't know that it's going to function with that kind of range. Hopefully we might play with it a little bit. But I think when we rebuild this, we'll return it largely to stock. Now, while I'm talking, I've removed my hammer spring. I've removed a very well lubricated hammer right here. Interesting line on it. We'll put in there. I'm up against the back of the valve underneath here. These, in most of the guns, are not using any form of well, in most of the 1377, 1322, 3.62, that family of guns that use the smaller diameter tube. Crosman typically does not secure the valve with the screw. And to keep it from moving too far back, there's this little indent that's cut and pressed into the tube. So this valve will not come out the back. What we're going to have to do is take it out the front. So we'll end up removing this piece, and I'm going to need a crescent wrench to do that. So I will be right back. Okay, as I was going for my crescent wrench, and I only have my large one in my toolbox, I think the other one's out in one of my scooters, I found out that this is a 7/16, so I just grabbed a wrench that we'll go ahead and get on here and start to bring that out. Frankly, I thought that was going to be in there tighter than it is. That required pretty much zero effort. So let's see what we get here when we take this apart. I think I can do the rest of that by hand. There we go. So here we have our fill port and front end of our pressure tube, check valve. I'm believing that there's going to be, let me look here, nope. Nothing else in there all the way down to that valve. So the next thing we do with our Crosmans typically is go get a wooden rod and push that valve out the front. So let me grab my dowel. I don't know that my usual dowel is going to be long enough, so we may have to improvise. Hang on a second. Well, this is my Crosman dowel that's been with me for years, and I think it's going to be too short for this. Basically what I'm going to do is stand this thing up on its end and push it from the back forward. As you push, you will feel the, well, I didn't even really feel the hammer spring, or not the hammer spring, but the spring in the valve. I can feel it sliding forward. As I feared, I'm a little short, but I have an extension thing I think I can grab right here. Hang on. Okay, my larger dowel won't fit this diameter, so I'm going to do something I don't like doing, and I'm going to use a barrel to go ahead and push my dowel through. Push him out the other end. Very cool. Pull out that barrel. Just in case you're curious, I used a 14.6-inch carbine barrel. Push that out. We now have a completely empty tube that I will set to the side along with my dowel. And let's take a look at our valve. At this point, I would consider the gun disassembled. Obviously, we can take this valve apart some more. Oh, let's look at this a little closer. I mean, just looking at it, it has the appearance of their traditional 1377-22 valve with the new front end on it. We could go ahead and take that apart, but what I'm seeing here appears to be pretty straightforward. We don't have any screws that need to line up again, so that's a plus or a minus. Obviously we have this O-ring. Other than that, an opening at the front. Boy, that sure looks like the standard valve to me. Yeah, perhaps we should break her open. Oh man, that thing's going to be tight. I'd have to put it in a vise. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to crack that valve open right now. We've got a pretty complete disassembly here. Some folks specialize in these trigger groups. There is a lot of good information online about how to modify them. Also in my comments, I've got a viewer that Joseph that has provided some really good tips as well. I'm going to leave this as it is. My interest was to disassemble so we could get a look at what components were being used, and I am interested now in reassembling this and shooting it some more. I may go ahead and take apart this valve and shoot that as a separate video that you can see in the future here if you'd like to. Let me know on that. And at this point, as I say, we are fully broken down. Well, only other things we could do, actually, we are broken into all of our components. So yeah, I think this completes the disassembly of the Crosman 3622 PCP airgun. And next thing we'll do is put it together. Hey, thanks a lot. See you on the next one.